The Wisdom of Confucius. Stories of Virtue and Leadership. Confucius, originally named Kongqiu, was born in 551 BC in the Lu state of ancient China. He is widely regarded as one of the most influential philosophers in history. His insights on ethics, family, and society have profoundly shaped Chinese culture for thousands of years. In addition to his profound wisdom, there are several anecdotes from his life that illuminates his relatable humanity and commitment to justice. Confucius led a life filled with stories that exemplified his wisdom, courage, and compassion, underscoring the enduring relevance of his teachings. This video explores 6 of those stories that highlight the core values of his teachings. Number 1. The Sage and the Spring Festival. During the spring and autumn period, China was a land of numerous states constantly at war with one another. The state of Lu, where Confucius served as a government official, was no exception. Political intrigue and corruption were rampant, and the common people often bore the brunt of the aristocracy's power struggles. One winter, as the spring festival approached, a time of celebration and renewal, Confucius noticed a growing tension in Lu. The ruling duke was known for his extravagance, planning a grand festival while the common people struggled with heavy taxes and famine. Confucius believed that leaders should be virtuous and care for their people. He decided to take a stand. Disguised in plain clothes, he mingled with the townsfolk, listening to their grievances. He learned that many were planning to revolt if their suffering continued. Confucius devised a plan to address the duke's negligence. He invited the duke and his ministers to a special gathering before the festival. Intrigued by Confucius's reputation as a wise man, they all attended. At the gathering, Confucius spoke of a distant land ruled by a wise and benevolent king. He narrated how this king reduced his taxes and distributed food to his people during hard times. People, in turn, became loyal and industrious, leading the kingdom to unprecedented prosperity. The duke, caught up in the story, asked eagerly, "Where is this land? And who is this king? We must learn of him." Confucius paused and replied, "The land is here, and the king is you, if you choose to be." The wisdom of rulership lies not in lavish festivals, but in the hearts of the contented people. Moved by Confucius's words and the realization of his own misrule, the duke agreed to lower taxes and distribute food from the royal granaries. The festival was celebrated modestly, but the people's spirits were higher than ever. Confucius's bold move not only prevented a potential revolt, but also restored a sense of justice and compassion in the state of Lu. His teachings on governance and virtue resonated deeply, influencing the duke and his ministers to adopt fairer practices. This episode became a cornerstone of Confucian philosophy, emphasizing that true leadership is rooted in empathy and righteousness. Confucius's legacy lived on, and his teachings spread far beyond Lu, shaping the moral framework of China for centuries to come. Number 2. The Wise Fisherman. Confucius was once traveling with his disciples when they came across a humble fisherman by a river. The fisherman, unaware of Confucius' identity, spoke with wisdom that caught the sage's attention. The fisherman said, "In fishing, patience is key. You must wait quietly for the fish to come to you. Likewise, a leader must wait for the right moment to act rather than forcing things. Impressed, Confucius engaged the fisherman in a deep conversation about life and leadership. He later told his disciples, "Wisdom can be found in the simplest of lives. Never underestimate the knowledge of the humble." The story emphasized that true wisdom is universal and can be found in unexpected places. Number 3. The Stonecutter's Transformation. In another village, Confucius encountered a stonecutter who was deeply unhappy with his life. The stonecutter envied a wealthy merchant, a powerful official, and even the sun and the moon, wishing to be anyone but himself. Confucius, with a smile, narrated a tale of a stonecutter who wished for power and wealth, only to realize that each form came with its own troubles and limitations. Eventually, the stonecutter wished to return to his original form, appreciating his unique place in the world. Through this parable, Confucius taught that contentment and self-acceptance are vital for true happiness. The stonecutter learned to value his life and skills, realizing that every role has its own significance. 4. The Honest Magistrate. Once, Confucius recommended one of his disciples, Yan Hui, to be appointed as a magistrate in a troubled town. Yan Hui was known for his honesty and integrity, but the town was rife with corruption. Yan Hui worked tirelessly, refusing bribes and treating everyone fairly. Initially, the townspeople were skeptical, but slowly his honesty began to restore trust. He resolved disputes with wisdom and fairness, and gradually the town became more harmonious and just. Confucius visited and praised Yan Hui, saying, "A single virtuous person can transform an entire community." This story underscores the power of integrity and the ripple effect of virtuous leadership. The Generous Scholar. One winter, during a harsh famine, Confucius and his disciples were traveling through a region where people were starving. They came across a wealthy scholar who had an abundance of food but refused to share it, believing that it was the duty of the government, not individuals, to provide aid. Confucius approached the scholar and said, "In times of need, true knowledge is shown through action. A scholar's duty is not only to learn but to practice benevolence." Moved by Confucius's words, the scholar opened his granaries and shared his food with the hungry. This act of generosity saved many lives and strengthened the community. Confucius's lesson highlighted the importance of personal responsibility and compassion. Number 6. The Humble Emperor. The final story takes place later in Confucius's life, when he was invited to the court of a new young emperor who sought his guidance. The emperor was eager to learn and humble enough to acknowledge his inexperience. Confucius advised the emperor on ruling with virtue, saying, "A ruler's greatness is not in power, but in his ability to listen, learn, and serve his people with humility." The emperor took Confucius's advice to heart, implementing policies that promoted education, justice, and welfare. Under his rule, the empire flourished, becoming a beacon of prosperity and peace. Confucius's influence on the emperor showcased the lasting impact of his teachings on governance and the timeless value of humility and wisdom in leadership. Conclusion. These stories of Confucius His encounters with the wise fisherman, the discontent stonecutter, the honest magistrate, the generous scholar, and the humble emperor illustrate his profound wisdom and the transformative power of virtue and compassion. They remind us that true leadership lies in understanding, integrity, and the unwavering commitment to the well being of others.